Okay, so it seems like it worked this time, which is good. I was a little bit nervous. I hope everyone can hear me. Let's see. Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I have everything I need. Okay, so if one person's watching. You don't have to say anything unless you want to. I'm just noting. All right. So the disclaimer is that the opinions expressed on this forum is not representative of PLN's official stance. RX, that's me. My opinion is based on the information available at the time, and it is not PLN's official stance. Not everyone who calls in is a TI, as TIs know that gang stalkers have a tendency to pretend to be TIs or try to disrupt something like this. And the gang stalkers, yeah, I already read that. Yeah, I'll read it again. The gang stalkers have a tendency to pretend to be TIs and interfere with activities related to TIs. And again, my opinion, you're going to hear me say I a lot because I am expressing my own opinion, not PLN's official opinion. And any opinions expressed on the show is not PLN's opinion. So, with that said, with all the mass shootings going on, it is important to discuss what can happen when someone has a gun. The demographics of the shooters are unknown. Some may be TIs, some may be TIs and not know it. Some may be non TIs who have a mental illness, and some may be psychopaths. Some may be regular people who lost control. Some may have an agenda. No one is sure right now. So PLN focuses on helping TIs deal with what is happening with them in the most effective way available until full exposure of the covert network that terrorizes them. When a TI realizes that she or he is being stalked, she or he may want to protect him or herself by getting a weapon. That is a normal response, and PLN nor I has no stance on which way is the best. This discussion is not to tell TIs what to do. It is to give enough information and allow discussions to help TIs make the best decisions for themselves and their situation. By discussing the issue and presenting scenarios, TIs can consider the circumstances, the consequences, and options and other factors that may affect or arise from their decision. With that said, I would like to get some opinions of whether or not a TI should carry a gun. And if you want to call in, the call-in number is 605-562-0444, and you will need Google Chrome to call in. So let's see. Good evening. I've seen this notification. All right. Does anyone have any opinion? Oh, I haven't gotten any emails, which I think is really weird. But I think if you're a TI, you know how that goes. So I would like to know, does anyone have any thoughts about should TIs carry guns? And let me get the other thing set up. Hold on. Okay, I'm just signing into the call-in. And the call-in is through TalkShoe. I know a lot of you are familiar with that platform. So that is how the call-in's going. Let me see. All right, so I'm on TalkShoe and I'm also on YouTube. So everything is okay now. Let me see. Sorry, this is my first time. I was just worried that I wouldn't be able to get on. All right. So does anyone have any opinion? I kind of figured this would happen. Hold on. Okay, and this is my, I'm just really learning how to use, well, I'm familiar with live stream, but I'm not really familiar with the call-in. So it's kind of my first time figuring it out. So let's see how that goes. Right. All right. So does anyone, so the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, like I said, when you start being a TI, the first thing you want to do is protect yourself. You know, hold on, this thing keeps ringing. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out talk show. It rings, but I don't know. Do I pick it up or I don't know why it's ringing. I think I fixed it. All right. So one of the things that comes up a lot is you want to protect yourself. So the first thing you want to do, of course, you know, the number one way that people think your audio isn't connected, tap to connect. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure. Okay, I think everything's okay. So yeah. All right. I'm sorry. Trying to doing two things at once. All right. So when you hold on, it says sucks. I can't read it. Okay, it says or instead of they think they should or should carry a lot of TIs. Should meet up and do something that gang stalkers are doing. Do the same things that gang stalkers are doing to them. Well, maybe in time, right? First, you got to find out what exactly is going on. Because I mean, from the research, I realize it's more complicated than it seems. Oh yes, I'm on the crazy. Hold on, let me see. I'm sorry. While I'm talking to you, I'm trying to figure all this out, and I'm not sure. To tell you the truth, I don't know what I'm doing yet with this. I think that's the chat. It says YouTube. Okay, you wrote Sosa wrote a comment, but I'm not sure how to read it. Let me see. Um, So there's no chat. All right. I tried to practice with this, but I really didn't know how to do it, so I guess I'm doing it now. So okay. So Sosa, I couldn't read your whole message. Sorry about that. Oh yeah. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go out and you, of course, if people want to protect themselves, the first thing they're going to think of is a gun, you know, and next thing, knife and tasers and everything like that. And this is not about what I think. This is more about what you think. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to interact, because even though there are some similarities in all the situations, there is a lot of differences because it is personalized to you. So, you know, even though people may see red cars or people pointing all the time, there's some baseline strategies that they use, but they also like pinpoint it to your specific needs. So if what may work for one person may work for you, or it may not work for you. So I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to help you decide what to do in your situation, because you're in that situation and you know what will work or what won't work. And if you don't know, I'm hoping that you will get enough information to start seeing and start thinking about what can work for you. So yeah. So so there's not a lot of I think there's only 2 people watching right now. And like I said, I kind of expected, we've had I kind of you know, there's been a lot. We as TIs have been through I've been through TIs, and there's also Pio Eyes. So there's TIs who are full blown, they're coming after you, and then there's Pio Eyes, persons of interest. And when you become a researcher, you start becoming a person of interest until they decide whether or not to make you a full blown TOI. If you interfere, your friends are POIs. your family become Pio Eyes, where they're not full-blown targets, but they're, they're keeping an eye on them for now, and they're trying to see if this person is a hazard of some type to them or their system. And so there's Pio Eyes and TIs, and either way, and the audience, I would like to say you're safe. No one's going to touch you, no one's going to harm you. But the truth about it is, from what I've observed, these people will use any and everyone that they can to get to the target. So no one's really safe. Have you seen it written a lot in the PLN videos? Anyone could become a target at any time. If they feel, you could be walking down the street and you're an audience member, you don't know anything about this person, but if they feel that you are what they need at that time to get to that person or get what they need done, they will come after you. And I'm not saying that to like scare you and stuff. I'm saying that so the audience could be aware that, you may be of danger, even though you're not a TIs. That's why I think like, TIs could benefit. I mean, non-TIs could also benefit from this, because these people use whoever they want to use to do these things. Okay. Can you delete this message just because it's enough? One second. Not a lot of TIs should meet up. Okay. I don't know how to delete the messages. I don't think you could delete messages on TIs. On TIs, on YouTube, but if I could, I'll try, but let me see. Oh yeah, I could. Okay, so I'll delete your message. I'll delete all of them. And let's see. So one of the participants asked me to remove their message. So I'm gonna do that. And okay, I don't know if it took effect, but I've removed your message. All right, so let's see. Share some good advice. That's fine. Do whatever. And the thing about this is there's no pressure to go out there. I think that the most important thing is do things at your own pace. Do things at a time that you feel is comfortable. The situation that you're in, the people who are around you, the people who are, after you, and you have to do things at your own pace and try to be as safe as possible. So you don't have to, like, if you don't feel comfortable speaking out, you don't have to, right now. If you don't, just do things at your own pace. Don't feel rushed to join any activity, join any group or anything like that. And always be careful. My advice is don't trust anyone. Even things I say, I would suggest you look into it, just because, as you can see, some of the people who are, some of the beasts are pretend to be good people and they pretend to help you. So, I mean, my best advice is don't trust anyone. Do your own research and make sure that you look into it. So, so on to the next thing. So I wanted to bring out some scenarios. Let me just look at my notes. There were some scenarios that I wanted to bring out. And if you try to get on, oh, it says I have 4 guests. Oh, they're only viewing. Okay, so hi to whoever's viewing. The only reason I'm new to TalkShoe, so I don't know how to operate everything. And let's see. So let me continue. Let me get my notes out so I could discuss the first. So here are some scenarios for you to think about. When you're deciding whether or not you want to carry a gun. So what's going to happen is I think that there is a change going on from what I've observed in the subliminal system. It's a very complicated situation. Their subliminal environment is wow. When I'm able to let you guys hear more of what's going on, we're not you know, we as TIs are not, or Pio Eyes are not fully aware of everything. And I'm not trying to tell you to show sympathy at all to the people who are hurting you, because some of them really, really, really do enjoy it. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of crap. And, you know, there's a video that PLN has on that says they're glorified TIs, and in a lot of ways they are. So back to the topic at hand. So, so some people may suspect that they are in the situation. And as time goes on and you learn more and stuff, and you realize what's going on, you start to get angry when you realize that you're not crazy. Okay. And you start to, you know, you're trying to tell people about this and they're like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're paranoid. Oh, you're too sensitive and stuff. But when you like get to the point where you're just like, no, this is really happening and stuff, you start to get angry. And what happens is that the beasts, they fuel, and the beasts are the people who do these horrible things. And it is horrible. I kind of feel like I'm in a good place, because not in a good place, but I feel like I'm in a good place to understand what you're going through, because I've observed a lot. And some of the things, even with electronic harassment, which is like, oh, you are insane and out of your mind, and for hat people and everything like that. But even with electronic harassment, while I'm researching, I do, like, because I want to know what is happening, I do get to feel some of that stuff. And so I kind of have an idea of what you're going through and stuff. So if you're comfortable and feel safe enough to talk about it, I know what you're talking about, because it's horrible. It's terrible. No one should be doing this. And what upsets me is that the research shows that this could be undone, you know. And what happens is that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in this thing. Okay, these people, they're con artists. Okay, they have everyone believing that they control everything and that they're in charge of everything, but it's not. I mean, I can't go into detail, but this could be stopped. And it could be stopped quickly. Their machine, or whatever it is that they use, the devices they use and the whole system they use, could be stopped and it could be undone. But the whole thing is, you need exposure and you need people to know what's going on. So, so what happens is, I went off on a topic. I went off topic. So what happens after you realize what's going on? What they do is if you notice that they're always trying to get you angry, if you're a TI, they're always trying to do something to annoy you or agitate you. And once you get angry, they fuel that. So if you've ever been in a situation where they piss you off, it's like, it's a one shot. And as soon as they know you're angry, it's like boom, 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 one after the other, one after the other. And it's kind of like systematic. Like, you know, they know what they're doing. They're like poking. And, one of the things that they tell you is that it will happen. It will never stop. It'll happen until you die. You're in a situation for life, blah, 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 and all that crap. Right. And you know what? They are crazy enough to do this until someone dies, you know, because they are psychopaths and they are killers. Okay. These people do kill. This is a program of slow kill. They slowly kill people. Okay. They torture people. They do have assimilation. There's something called a rescue, where if they see a TI that, if one of them see a TI that they like or want to rescue or whatever, they will try to so-called rescue you. But I'm here to warn you that it's not a rescue. Don't even go into that. What's going to happen is that person, whoever rescues you, is going to trap you, and they're going to think that they could do whatever they want to you because you have nowhere else to go. And if you piss them off enough, or if you try to stand up for yourself or get out of it, they would like just unleash hell on you, and you're going to wish you never were with them. So be careful of people who try to rescue you. And there's also pale paths. Pale paths are the beast who pretend to be nice and they pretend to help you and everything like that. And this is all coming to the topic. So what they do is, you know, they'll tell you to kill yourself. You can't get out of this. Death is the only way out of it. And what's funny is that they say that to each other too. If there's a beast or one of them who want to get out of it. And just a little bit of what I've observed in subliminal systems. There's a beast who wants, like, I don't want to do this anymore. They think death is the only way out of it if you're a TI, or even if you're part of the gang stalking unit, and it's not true. So suicide is one thing. They're going to keep telling you, kill yourself, it's over. And you know what? This is so horrible that you may want to kill yourself. Seriously. It is that bad. I can't even, that's a whole different video, but it's so bad that you may want to kill yourself. Don't. Your life is worth more than their whole network put together. Don't kill yourself. Just push through. I know it's slow coming, but I think that things are turning, slowly but surely. Things are starting to turn around, and, just push through and just hang on. So they're going to suggest suicide. And what they're going to do is they're going to humiliate you. And they're going to do things to make you so depressed. Okay. They're going to humiliate you. And if you're a TI, you've been through this before, and of the incidents that they do. There's going to be a lot of depressing incidents and interactions, and they're going to push and push and push till there's that last straw. And it could be something big, and it could be something small. And the reason why it could be something small is because they've been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and you've been holding it back. And, sometimes when you've been holding back a lot, it just takes that one little thing. It could be anything, just something petty, and that just pushes you over the edge. And you're like, that's the last straw. And that's when they got you where they want you. That's what they want you. Okay. They want you at that last straw. I've had enough. I'm not taking this crap anymore. And what happens next is up to you. So if you fall into their trap, what you're going to do and do something wrong or violent, you're going to end up in jail or a psychiatric ward while they vilify you and they slander you. And the reason why they do this, and I don't want to use this example, but I'm using it just because it's the most recent one. First of all, I don't know if Epstein was a human trafficker. I haven't kept up on the case. I don't know what happened. I just know that he was accused of human trafficking in some way. I don't know much about it. And this is not to say that he was innocent. And this is not to say that he was guilty. I don't know. But this is just to give an example of what happens. The reason why they want you in a psych ward or jail is so that they can do whatever they want to you. So while you're out here, they have to kind of hold back a bit. And that's why it's all underhanded. They're just playing within the system. And one thing I think is very important is that they are in your world. They want you to think that they rule the world. These people don't rule the world. Okay, first of all, if you've seen them, they're a bunch of arrogant, I don't even want to get into that because I have a lot to say about them. They are in your world, and in your world, meaning they are in a human world. From what I've heard in the subliminal system, these people are, I can go on and on. These people are really screwed up in the head. Okay, they are, and they're in a lot of pain. A lot of them, it seems, I'm not going to say it's true because I don't know. It seems like a lot of them don't want to be in there. A lot of them are born into this. A lot of it is generational. A lot of them don't know anything. But I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, so I'm going to go back. Okay, so what happens next? I'm going to go back to the original, what I was originally talking about. So you're at the point where you've had the last straw. And so, that's why Epstein. So the reason why they want you in jail is because, or in a psych ward, is because they want to do whatever they want. Once you're vilified, once you're painted as this horrible, crazy, insane person, what they're going to do, whatever they do to you, they're going to say, oh, why are you listening to him? He's a pedophile. Why do you listen to her? She's a human trafficker. Why are you listening to her? She's crazy. She killed someone. She beat this person. She did this and that. And what happens is that gives them a leeway. They could do whatever they want. Whereas now, if you're walking around and you're just an average person who people might think you're a little off because you're claiming you're a TI, if they come up and they smack you, or if they do a lot of stuff to you, people will still try to protect you because you're not a nut. You're not a murderer. You're not someone who went violent on someone, drug dealer, pedophile, whatever it is that they try to get you by. There's still a bit of caring in the human society. That's Okay, I'm sorry, I remember what I was gonna say. They're in your world. This is your human world. And the reason why it's still a human world, if it was their world, they wouldn't have to tiptoe and hide. There's a lot of tiptoeing and then there's a lot of hiding. One of the first things TIs do is they want to confront. Like sometimes when you find out what's happening, you want to confront them. You want to say, who are you? Why are you doing this? Why are you following me? And what they're going to do, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Do you feel that way? Da, 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 da. Yeah. If they rule the world, they wouldn't have to do that. These people are so arrogant, so violent, so disgusting that if they rule the world, they would just go up to you, do whatever they want, and walk away. But they can't do that because it's a human world. And because most TIs, I think, are human beings, you remember that. You're not in their world. They're in your world. That's why they have to tiptoe around you. That's why they have to hide. That's why they have to wear the human mask, because they are in a human world. It's still a human world. They haven't taken over yet. They're trying. They're trying really, really hard to make it a world that's, an environment that's conducive to what they want. But they're not there yet. So you remember that. Okay. And then the other thing is you got to be careful because these people, I don't want to go out and like empower you and make you feel like, oh, I got this. And you go up to one of them and say something, because they are killers. They're violent and they're killers. And as of now, they still have this, I don't know what word to say. This facade, this way of they could still paint you out as crazy. So it's not like I want you to go out there and like get in their face. Well, no, because right now they could still hurt you, and because they're still painting TIs as insane people, they could still they can still do a lot of stuff that they shouldn't do. And then if you say this person was that, it can still be painted against you. But what I'm trying to do is make you feel better. I just want you to know that you are in a human, they're still in a human world. You're in a human world and they haven't taken over. I don't want to say yet, but I hope they don't take over. You're still in a human world. Humans still rule the world, and they're still trying to take over the world. So don't believe for 1 minute that they do, that they run this world. And that's just to make you feel better. So back to Epstein. I'm sorry, I'm going around in circles. So once they get you in jail or in a psych ward, they could do whatever they want. They could pump you up with a bunch of medications because you're crazy. They got you in a psych ward. No, this person needs this medication. Who knows what's in the medication? They'll tell you they're giving you something to treat your depression or, something else. So they could pump you up with all those. And that ties back to being in a human world, because in a human world, they can't just pump you up. They can't just grab you off the street. They can't just come into your house and like shoot you up with meds and stuff, because humans will have a fit over that. Okay. That's not allowed, especially not in America. But if they get you in a psych ward and they paint you out as crazy, they can pump you up with pills. Oh yeah, we're giving this person this because, they're insane. And people will be like, oh yeah, why do you say that? Because this person did this and that and that, and they were convicted of this and that and that. And guess what? Okay, yeah. No one's going to bat an eye. And if you say, no, I'm in this, yeah, you're a TI, you're crazy. Okay, whatever. You end up in jail. Oh, well, they could do pretty much whatever they want, come in at night or whatever. And so why did you do this to this, blah, blah, blah? Well, this person's in jail. That means they're convicted of something. They're a horrible person and they deserve it. Why do you say that? Well, they committed this and they did that. Okay. Well, it's not right, but whatever, and that's why they try to get you in jail or a psych ward so they could do whatever they want. And they don't have to wear the human mask anymore because you're now the bad person. So another reason for this topic is that you don't want that. So with Epstein, what happens is he's in jail, he's going through hell and stuff. He ends up dead. Did he commit suicide? Did they kill him? Who knows? And the reason why I painted that, and the reason why I brought him up, like I said, guilty or not, I don't know. I haven't kept up on the case, but that's why they want you in that situation, so they could go in and do whatever they want, paint you as a bad person, and then, whatever. So what happens is, so you fall into their trap, you get violent jail, and then, okay, so they do this because they want the rest of the world to think that you are a horrible person, and they don't want anyone to care what happens to you. So that's what happens when you fall into their trap. Okay. Or it could be that they just, sometimes you don't end up in jail. Like someone wrote in and it was terrible. It was terrible. What happens is her ex goes in and he rapes her. Every night he rapes her. She calls the cops. The cops know about it. They just let her, oh, she's crazy. So she's not in jail. She's not in a psych ward, but he got her in a situation where he could just go in and he could do whatever he wants. And it's like, it's terrible. Like when people send me emails like that, I I get angry. And I just can't wait till there's full exposure and people could talk about this and not see, um, not think that people who are in the situation are crazy, but that there's something really, 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 really wrong here and that something needs to be done. So I was hoping that I wouldn't be talking all the time, but no one's really commenting. So what happens is, okay, so that's their trap. Okay. So once you get that last straw moment and they got you where they want you, you can fall into their trap. Or you can decide what happens next, because they would try to do this. It's not going to be one last straw moment. You're going to have several last straw moments, because remember, they're attacking, they're pushing and pushing and pushing. They're not going to stop until they get you where they want you. Honestly, they probably won't stop until you die, because these people are insane. I'm not saying that to scare you or to go along with go along with what they've told you. They're crazy. Like, they are just, oh my God, these people are just out of it. And I'm saying that from observing them in the real world and listening to what's going on in their subliminal environment. There's some, like I said, from the subliminal environment, there's some who seem to want to get out. And there are some who are just like, whoa, like it's the devil incarnate. Okay, these people are just out of their minds. So they probably will keep trying to do this. I don't know, they're psychopaths, and psychopaths have a tendency to want to just keep hurting and hurting people. They're not happy. Like, I've observed one of them, like I think what happened was they, like, oh my God, it was horrible. They like really, really beat somebody up. And usually, like, when you're a human being or you still have humanity and you watch this, you hear these things happening, you're like, oh, like, it still shakes me up when I think about it. But what I remember, like, this was the first time I've ever really, like, psychopaths, they hide among society, and I've never been around them. But when you're observing these people, it's a network full of psychopaths. So you're going to see every kind. You're going to see the pale paths. And when I say pale paths, those are the people who, like, the psychopathic traits don't show as much. There'll be preachers. They'll go to church. A lot of people go to church. A lot of the beasts go to church. They'll be like the nicest person. They'll be the ones who claim to help you. Okay. But underneath is the beast, and you're going to see that. It'll be one time you're going to see that, and it's going to come out. You're like, wow, I thought this person was nice. So what happens, I went off topic again. So sorry. Oh yeah. So the first time I ever really observed, like, cause when you're POI or you're a TI, you get to see them without their mask. So TIs, I mean, I know it's like, you don't want to see this crap because it's like, it's horrible, but you are seeing something a lot of people don't see. The psychopaths have a mask and they do not take it off for anybody. So you're seeing, like, ugh. Okay. So this was the first time I ever saw, like, the textbook psychopath. Okay. And they just beat this person up, and it was horrible. It was like several of them. And afterwards, after they stop, he was happy. Like, he was like, he felt, you could hear in his voice this happiness and this relief and stuff. Like, they just played ball and they won money or something like that. And I'm just in there like, oh my God. And he was like, it's still perplexing to me. Like, how could you do something like that and act like you just, had the best time of your life? And I don't know. So the reason why I brought that, and so I brought that up to show you that these people, they are capable of anything, and they get off on this. They get off on hurting you. They like hurting you. Okay. And so they're capable of doing anything. So they probably will stalk you until you die, or until exposure comes, which is what I'm pushing for. I want exposure. I want all this stuff, but no one's going to know. I can't tell you when it's going to happen. I just want you to know that I am trying my best to, help bring this out and not have everybody think TIs are crazy. So back to the scenario. So what you can do is, at that last straw moment, which I'm telling you now, you probably will have more than one last straw moment where you're just like, oh, and you could fall into their trap. And and the reason why I'm going through these scenarios, because I'm trying to, like, get you a roundabout. This is not like a play by play of what they're going to do. It's just to give you an idea of what they're going to do. So their trap, and their end goal, which a lot of you know already. This is already on the internet. If you've been to China, you talk, So that's part of their trap. It's part of their agenda. There could be other agendas. Some people want to use you. If you have money, they'll use you for your money. Maybe their end goal is just to get your money. If you are attractive, maybe their end goal is just to have a girl or guy who looks like you. If you are nice, maybe their end goal is just to have someone nice that they could beat up and who will never leave them. So there's like several different end goals. It's not necessarily like violence or anything, and each of them have their own agenda. So and that's one of the things that you got to figure out while you're going through this. It's like, and you don't have to figure out for everybody. So don't drive you crazy. Like, what's this person trying to do? What that person's going to try and do? I mean, you'll learn as you go. But there is an end goal, and there is a trap. But most generally, the major trap is jail, psych ward, dead, suicide, or something like that. So when that last straw moment comes, you could fall into their trap, or you can decide to do something different. So even if they've brought you to the brink once, and let's say you fell off the edge, you went crazy, you did something stupid, they'll do it again. They'll just keep going and going and going and going. Because like I said, they get off on this. So even though I went off on tangents, it all comes back to the point of what they're trying to do. So with that said, what happens when a TI carries a gun? You're walking down the street, you say, okay, I'm a TI, I got a gun. There comes that last straw moment, you got a gun. What's gonna happen? What if you fell into their trap? You become a murderer, you killed someone, you shot someone, you're in jail. What if you don't fall into their trap? And I'm not trying to say carry a gun or don't carry a gun. Like I said, this is all about getting you to think about these things. Because sometimes, like, first of all, this is not a normal situation. It's not it's not an everyday situation that you as a normal human being go through. So, a lot of people don't know that they have to think about these things. You have to think about these scenarios because these people will push. Like your environment is being manipulated. There's people placed in different places. There's like people are trying to agitate you. They're just attacking you on like almost every level. And these are things that if you are a TI, as of now, you got to start thinking about. Okay, you can't just, it's not like in a normal human society where it's like, okay, I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to grab a gun. I probably won't have to use it, or I'll just, if someone scares me, I'm just going to take it out and show it to them, and nothing's going to happen. And they'll run, and I'll put my gun away and walk away. I'm not going to shoot it. I don't intend on shooting my gun. I just want to scare people. I want to have protection. I want to feel protected. But as a TI, you need to realize that these people, this is not a normal situation where you're going to flash your gun and someone's going to run. There's like the person who's agitating you is there trying to do something. Then there's like 5 other people around to play witness, and they're all trying to agitate you to shoot, to use that gun, to do something so they get you in a situation you want to be in. And that's the point of this discussion. Like, okay, so you thought about that, I'm still going to carry a gun. So if you find yourself in a situation where, okay, I can wave my gun now, but you're in that situation knowing that if you wave your gun, the person's probably not just going to run away. It might escalate to the point where there's a mass shooting. So that's something for you to think about. No one's really commenting. Everyone's quiet. I really didn't want to talk a lot. I wanted this to be all about you. Let's see. Okay. So that's scenario number 1, but there's no comments. So I'll go on to scenario number 2. So here's another thing for you to think about. So this is a real incident. So a TI was walking down the street, and one of the beasts, and the reason why I call them beasts is not to make it biblical, even though there is a lot of things that, it's a bit biblical about this, but I don't want to turn this into religion or anything because I don't want to exclude anyone. There's people who are in a situation who are not religious. I don't want anyone excluded. So that's why I don't go into religion. So the reason why I call them beasts is because when I observe them, that's what they act like. Beast. They're not, there's something so inhuman about them. I feel like and that's why I ponder, are these people Neanderthals? because the way they behave is just so different. I think a lot of TIs realize that it's just so different from what you're used to growing up in a human society. Like, you're like, well, and I think that's where the whole reptilian thing came from, because they're not human. They don't act like human beings, and that's why I call them beasts, because that's because of the way they act, not, trying to take, it's more descriptive than insulting. It could be insulting, but I really don't care. So here's the second scenario, which is a true story. Okay, so Ti is walking down the street, and this beast on a bike passes by and starts crap with the Ti she. Let's call she. And what happens is they have a few words. She tells the beast off. The beast, of course, starts something. She tells the beast off. The beast fights back. Blah 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 blah. And what happens is she's walking away, but the beast is still agitating. Okay, so he follows her, and he's still fighting, and she's trying to whatever. She's still telling him off, and whatever. They're having words. So here's where you have to think about the gun situation. So let's say she had a gun. She went out, she bought a gun because she wanted to protect herself. And as a female, I probably would have thought the same thing, So she went out, she got a gun, and he's like coming towards her. And she's like, okay, this is getting bad. She pulls out her phone. All of a sudden, her phone screen is black. Her phone was perfectly fine before. She's like, okay, because she wanted to record the situation. Her phone screen is black, so she can't push anything because she can't see the phone screen. Okay, phone's gone. No camera. I can't record. I'm crossing the street. But guess what? Back to the situation I said. It's not just one person. So while this beast on a bike is approaching her and still trying to escalate the situation, there's beasts driving by in the car. So what they did is they kept the traffic going so she couldn't cross the street. And they did that on purpose. It was like on cue. Okay. So she couldn't cross the street, because if she crossed the street, she'd get hit by a car. Okay. So she was kind of stuck on the same side of the street as that guy. So he's coming towards her. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to smack you, whatever, and all this stuff. She doesn't have a camera because her phone went black all of a sudden. She doesn't know what happened. Is it off? Oh my God, I don't have a phone. I can't call 911. Okay. She's trying to cross the street to get away from him. She can't because all the perps are driving by, okay, blocking her from crossing the street because she's going to get killed or whatever. And in that situation too, one of them could call the cops and say, oh, she's crazy, she's trying to she's blocking traffic, she's yelling at this guy on the bike, and because they're all involved, she's gonna look like the nut. Okay, so what you need to think about, and the reason why I bring this up, what if she had a gun? I probably would have thought of pulling out my gun at that point. And if you're scared and you're in that state, you probably would have think, I'm going to pull out my gun because this guy is coming for me. He's telling me he's going to beat me up. I can't get away from him. I can't cross the street. I can't call 911. The gun comes out. And what happens? What happens? What happens? What if you fall into the trap? Guess what? Someone's shooting. You're shooting the gun. You take him out. What if one of the people in the car come out and start with you? You're shooting that person. And then guess what? What if something else happens? That's a mass shooting. You're just going around shooting. Because guess what? After you kill someone or shoot at someone, you're your body goes into shock. You're like, oh my God. And then everything just escalates. You kind of lose control, So you're shooting. And that's why I'm bringing up mass shootings. If you're a TI and you carry a gun, and this is not to tell you not to carry a gun or to carry a gun. This is telling you what can happen. This is a real life situation. She didn't have a gun. She did not have a gun. But if she had a gun, when you feel threatened like that, your thing was okay, I know I have a gun. I'm going to pull it out because this guy is threatening me, And so that's the one thing you have to think about. You're in a situation like that where they're pushing. You're scared. You think you're going to get hurt. You can't get away from someone. And that's a mass shooting right there that they caused, but you can't say they caused because you're a TI, you're crazy. Guess what? The cops come. Oh, he came after me. I've been in this situation for years. They've been after me. I've been getting stalked, and you everything comes out. They've been pointing at me. Red cars are driving by, and you sound like you're crazy, And that's what happens, and that's a mass shooting. So should TIs carry guns? And if you do carry a gun, these are things that you should think about. These are some of the scenarios that could happen. And these are some of the things, honestly, they will push you to. They will push you to. And guess what? Some of them will tell you to buy a gun because they want you to get into the situation. So that's a real life scenario. So in real life, she didn't have a gun. She got away from him. She just beelined across the street as safe as she could possibly go. So, and then she looked at her phone like, what the heck happened? And what happened somehow, okay, her phone got dimmed out of nowhere. Like it was working fine a minute ago. And then the next minute, it was so black that it looked like it was off, but it wasn't off. The light was dimmed. And the reason why I say that is because next time you panic, your phone is black. Maybe they just did something, messed with your phone and dimmed the lights. So try that. So she she put the light, she got the screen to light back up or something. I don't know if she turned it off or not. She got the screen to light back up. She called 911. And when she saw that he was on the phone with 911, he went away and everything. So that's one situation. That's a real life situation. Think about if she had a gun, what could have played out, you know? And what if she pulled out a gun and he pulled out a gun? You know, it's just like, these are all things that you as a TI and as a person in a situation, this is what you need to think about. Like, you're still in the real world. You're always in the real world. This is just a little like traveling psych ward in the real world. You know, so you're always in the real world, but you are being surrounded by a bunch of psychopaths who get a kick out of tormenting you and trying to make you do things that you don't want to do. So that's something that you need to think about too. If you get a gun or any weapon, you know, I was thinking maybe a taser safer because it's, you know, easier. You can't really kill someone with a taser unless like they have heart problems. But then again, how are you going to know if someone has a heart problem? You know, it's like you never know. So even if you have a taser, like, what if I tase someone and that person had heart problems or dies? You know, it's like all these things that you got to think about, you know, when you're making a decision about how you're going to protect yourself. And these are things that you probably didn't think about because I guess I observe this stuff and I read about it. So like I see different scenarios and stuff, but you as yourself, because, you know, like the person who asked me to delete the comment, you're like, oh my God, I'm going through too much right now. I can't bother with this. And you're just trying to survive every day. Every single day, you're just trying to survive. You don't have time to think these things through. So that's why I'm hoping like this TI hour and these scenarios will help you like just start thinking things through a little bit. What can anyone tell me for me to treat them? What can anyone tell me for me to treat a woman like that? I don't know. These guys, they're very misogynistic. And I have to tell you, because these guys hate women. But then again, the girls hate women too. So if there's one thing and I think this is very important, guys, please take care of yourself because these guys will hurt you like in their subliminal system. I've heard about guys raping guys. And they're not necessarily homosexual. These are guys who claim to be straight. They do it as a way to shame the guy. So be careful, guys, with other guys. Guys, be careful with their girls because their girls are vindictive. Oh my God. Okay. The girls don't trust any of these people. Okay. Even if you're a guy, you're like, oh, well, she's just a girl. What can she do? She's dangerous. She's dangerous. See, the girls in this network are dangerous and they will set you up. Okay, so guys, be careful. And the reason why I'm bringing up the guys first is because a lot of guys, you know, you think, oh, well, it's just another guy. They're not going to do things like that, you know. No, be careful. These guys are capable of anything and they will do anything, okay, whether or not they're straight, okay? Or they'll set you up so you could get beat up, okay? So guys, be careful with other guys. And guys, be careful with girls. They're girls. Girls, do not trust them. Like, I'm a female. I'm girl power all the way. I'm all about, you know, I'm practically a feminist. And it was really hard to see these girls, really hard to see them because they will set up another girl for rape. They will set you up with a guy who will beat you, hurt you, and damage you, and they'll laugh. They'll tell you, oh, you were wrong. You overreacted. Oh, you know, he's a nice guy. You just got to be a certain way with him. But they know the type of guy that they're setting you up with. They'll take you out somewhere and you're going to think, you know, as a girl, if I see another girl, I'm like, oh, there's another girl there. I'm pretty safe. No, these girls, they'll sit there and watch you get hurt. Okay, so girls don't trust the girls. And of course, you know, girls don't trust the guys in this network because they will hurt you. And they don't care if you're a girl. Like, they will they will try to fight you like you're a guy. Like there is something else. I've never seen guys like that's one thing. Like in this observation, like I'm used to human guys or guys raised in a human society, but watching these guys, it's just like because they're a mixture of, and excuse my language, bitch. They're very bitchy, but they're guys. So that always throws me off when I see them do like really bitchy things. I'm like, because I'm looking at a guy, he's like really bitchy, you know? So that's one thing that was really interesting in the whole observation. So that was one scenario. And no one's commenting. So I guess I'll give you a minute to think about that because I'm talking kind of fast. I really wish there was more interaction, but whatever, you do what you're comfortable with and what's best for you. Uh, so here's the last scenario. Okay. And this goes back to mass shootings. Okay. So one of the things that Pio Eyes complained about is that people go into their houses when they're not there. People mess with their food, you know, and stuff. So there was one interesting case, and this one's not real. This scenario is not real. This news story is real. Well, it's kind of a mixture of different news stories. So whatever, it's just a jumble. This is not like a real scenario. Well, it's not. I mean, it could be a real scenario. This is not a true story. So there's a girl. Sorry, I'm just using girls. There's a girl, a woman, and she has a gun. She fires her gun. She goes to the shooting range all the time because that's the type of person she is, and that's a real. This is actually a story of a real person. She goes to a shooting range and she shoots. She knows how to use a gun, and she has no problem using her gun at all. And what happens is, you know, one day she wakes up and she doesn't feel good, but she has to go to work. She has to go out. She has to, you know, continue living. You know, she has things to do. She can't sit home all day today and just like go through it. So she goes through the day and she's feeling weird, you know. And this is like a combination of real stories. You know, it's not just one story. It's a combination of real stories. So, you know, the sentiments are real. I'll tell you when I get to the fake part or the scenario part. So she wakes up one day and she doesn't feel good. She doesn't feel like herself. Something's weird. She can't put her hand on it. But she goes on about her day because she has to do it. You know, she has things to do. So she goes out and she's just not feeling good, you know, and she's kind of like in a haze and in a blur or whatever. And that's the fake part because I don't know how that person was feeling at the time. So she goes out and she's going about her life and they know she doesn't feel good. They see it in her face. They see the way she's acting and behaving. They know she doesn't feel good because they watch her all the time. You know, they observe her all the time. They don't know. They know, you know, and they don't always know. Trust me. When you get the hang of this, you can really mess with them. But that's a whole different episode. Or when you know more. Anyway, so they know that she's off. But the reason why they know is because they were in her apartment and they put something in her food. Okay, she ate her food and she woke up the next morning. She didn't feel right. And that's just a scenario, and that's the fake part. Or let's say she was at work. She went to work and all of a sudden she feels sick. She had left her coffee unattended. She left her, bagel unattended or something. One of them came in, they did something and they left. She ate her food and now whatever they did is taking effect. And I don't know what they did. That's the fake part. I'm just giving you scenarios. So she's not feeling well. Okay, so here comes the agitator. Someone comes and they agitate her. And another person comes and they agitate her. And she's trying to maintain control, but she doesn't feel like herself. She just doesn't feel right, you know? And they push and they push and they push and they push and they push. And what happens is sometimes they'll hurt you. They'll only hurt. I noticed that most of the times they'll hurt you when they feel like they can get away with it. Like they have to know that they can get away with it. If they don't, then they'll just like push. But she's at work or she's in a public place. So they can't So they can't really like go at her like they want to. And trust me, they want to go at her. They're just violent, disgusting people. So they just have to like sneak around like they always do. So they push. So they're just pushing her buttons, pushing her buttons, pushing her buttons. So one, I'll say a guy comes up to her and he's menacing and he threatens to hit her. So under normal circumstances, if she didn't feel like she was under, she didn't feel weird, she would, have handled it differently. But something's going on. She's feeling strange. Something's happening. So because because she's out of it in a way, and she's in her own mind, she's still trying to like feel better. But out there, they're putting the pressure on by like giving her all this, stress. So the guy comes up to her and he like gets in her face like he's gonna hit her. She has a gun. She knows how to use it. So she pulls out her gun. She's at work. She pulls out her gun on this guy. And he's thinking, oh, she's not going to shoot me. And he continues. She shoots. She shoots him. Someone else jumps in. She shoots that person. She shoots the next person. She shoots the next person. What do you have? A workplace shooting. She's out in public. She's in the mall. She's at the mall. She's in the grocery store. Same thing happens. A female comes up to her, menacing, and she's just scared, or she just got so mad. She pulls out her gun thinking that it's going to scare the bitch. Sorry. She just pulls out her gun thinking it's going to scare the girl. And the girl's going to run away. The girl doesn't run away. She's like, because she's got her whole crew of beasts around her. So she's going to show off and run her mouth. So the girl doesn't run away. Oh, you can shoot me. And she's like, at this point, the beasts think, oh, I got her where I want her. She pulled out a gun. She's going to get arrested. I can say whatever I want. And she's just running her mouth and stuff. And the other girl gets so upset. Someone comes up behind her, comes up behind the TI. The TI gets scared, turns around and shoot. She shoots her. She shoots the other girl. She shoots. What do you have? You have a mass shooting in a public place. Because they tampered with something that night. And that's and the last part was fake. Well, I hope the last part fake. And there's things that could happen. Maybe that's what's going on with the mass shootings in a TI situation. Like I said, with the other scenarios, I don't know. But in a TI situation, that's how, I guess the whole point, because it's like 3 minutes, the whole point is to say you can carry a gun, but you need to know what could happen. You need to know the scenarios, what they could put you in, the type of situation you could be in, how they're trying to use that to hurt you and everything like that. How a TI could end up being a mass shooter, how a TI could end up a murderer, where you're just protecting yourself. You're carrying a gun. You have the right to carry a gun. You have the right, to try to protect yourself. But in a situation like this, you have to think it through a little bit more because it's a different scenario. You're in a situation where people are trying to agitate you and they're coming after you, and it's not a normal situation. So, the take-home message is if you choose to carry a gun, I hope this just kind of like gets you thinking about different scenarios and different things that could happen where you might end up in a situation you don't want to be in. And what would you do? Like, okay, I'm going to keep carrying my gun, but now I'm more aware that they could use that to achieve their goals or their agenda, or that the situation could escalate to a point like that. Maybe it won't, hopefully it won't, but that's always a possibility, so if you choose to keep carrying a gun, that's something that could happen, if you're thinking about a gun, those are things that you got to weigh out. And then if you don't have a gun, how else can you protect yourself? What are the alternatives? What can you do? So, ultimately, I'm just here to give you information, play out some scenarios based on, what I've observed and researched. And just ultimately, you will, you got to make that decision for yourself. So there's only about 1 minute left. And I was going to do a second TI hour where it was just like you call in and you do random thoughts. I will end this and I will start it, but if no one's participating, I'm going to cut it short. Okay. So thank you for watching. I hope this helped. I hope it helps some to, I hope this helped make you, I hope this helped, and I hope it gave you enough information to make a better decision about what to do and how to protect yourself. And there will be a TI hour next week. Let me see. I think the topic is going to be, let me see, the topic next week, I haven't decided on a day yet. And okay, the topic next week is, should TIs leave anything that can be ingested, food, drinks, medication, unattended? You know, and that goes back to what we said. I'm not trying to say they're going to come in and they're going to drug you to a point where, you know, you're going to go out and shoot someone. You know, if you don't have a gun, you have to worry about it. But it's just like, are you going to do things, you know, we'll talk. That's going to be the discussion for next week. Okay. Should you leave, you know, things that could be ingested unattended? And I will post when that next TIR will be. Thank you for those who watched. Like I said, I wish I didn't have to talk so much. It was supposed to be all about the TIs, and I wanted to hear what the TIs were thinking and had to say, and your different stories and experiences. But whatever, you know, if you're a TI, you know how how it goes. You know what's going on. So I'll just do the best I can under the circumstances. So thank you, and I'll be back in a few minutes. I just got to end this, and then I'll start again for TI hour. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.